Yo, House here for ProWrestlingPress.com, and for our very first interview exclusively to ProWrestlingPress.com, I got Violent J, Shaggy 2 Dope from the ICP. Welcome to ProWrestlingPress.com radio.
We are very honored to be here. This is a very prestigious site, and we're glad that you took the time to actually want to hear what we got to say. Thank you.
That's right, especially because we're not just professional wrestlers, we're also wrestler marks ourselves, you know what I'm saying? So that's extra cool for us.
That's right, and we're fans of the site, so it's an honor to be on here babbling.
Well, guys, let me ask you this. You guys are huge music stars. You have hundreds of thousands of Juggalo fans out there. You obviously don't need professional wrestling. Why do you guys even bother and waste your time, come away from your luxurious lives to come here in PW and be pro wrestlers?
It's the same reason you're here, House. We love it. It's in our blood, brother. There's no getting around it. We love this. We love the smell of the arena, the cheering of the pop of the house, the ring, the bounce of the ring, everything about it. Ever since we were kids, it's in our blood. You know, we're just because we've had good luck in the world of music doesn't mean somehow we're not going to love wrestling anymore. You know, the fact that we're able to do this, the fact that we're able to come here to PWU and do this, or the other places we go, and they'll have us, and we can get in there and work their guys. You know, that's an honor to us. It's awesome. It's like I guess it's like it's our number one love outside of music. It's our hobby. It's what we do outside of what we do.
Big time, and the fact is, before we were doing the music, we were involved in the independent wrestling scenes in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? So when when you got like musicians coming into wrestling, usually they suck ass. You know what I'm saying? But we actually know how to work, and we love it. You know what I'm saying? Like Jay said, it's in our blood. You know what I'm saying? Something that we'll come back to again and again and again and again. You know?
How many people know that? How many people know that Violent J and Shaggy were actually professional wrestlers before we ever held our first microphone on stage? How many people know that we were trained partly by Al Costello and Denny Cass in Detroit back in the day? How many people know that on our very first match ever, the main event was the Sheik versus Bobo Brazil? I'm talking about Azteca Hall, 1991, Southwest Detroit, where my first match was against Irish Mickey Doyle, and I was managed by none other than Shaggy 2 Dope right here. How many people know that? You know, when we appear somebody, when we appear on a wrestling show, we're looked at as celebrities in wrestling, musicians wrestling, so people automatically don't take us serious. How many people actually know that we were wrestlers before we ever made music? You know what I'm saying?
This ain't no Kevin Federline gimmick, you know what I'm saying? We actually are considered workers, you know what I'm saying? Not just some musical guys just trying to like dabble in the shit, you know?
Yeah, we're not saying we're the best workers. No, we're just saying that
how to get the shit done, and make a sweet angle and make it work,
That's what I'm saying. You guys just killed my next question. I was going to ask you, where did you guys get your start? Who you're trained by? Most memorable matches in your career. Your biggest matchups, the ones that you guys remember the most.
Well, one time on an independent show in Gaylord, Michigan, I wrestled Al Snow for 20 minutes, and the newspaper gave us a 5-star review. I'll never forget that.
And I think so. We were just talking about this earlier. I think like my favorite run was with Lenny Lane in WCW going for the Cruiser Championship. We took it on the road, then we started taking it onto the what was it called back then, Monday Night Nitro, and all that. That was good times. Lots of fun.
How many people remember that when Shaggy was going for the Cruiserweight title in WCW? That was awesome. They looked at his skill. They pulled us aside. Eric Bischoff pulled us aside and said, "We're going to have you go for the Cruiserweight." We were geeked as hell, man. You know what I mean? And I'd be ringside for him, and he'd be going for the Cruiserweight belt. That's because he could fucking work. They didn't do that for fucking David Arquette. Well, I guess they did.
Yeah, they gave him the World Championship belt. But the cool thing is, they were talking about giving it to me, but we had a fallout with Eric Bischoff and ended up not completing that run. Plus, we had another big actually worldwide tour we had to worry about and get onto that too.
Yeah, we're notoriously known for quitting and walking out of wrestling on less than an hour's notice.
Well, let me ask you guys something. Now WCW is gone. Have you guys been contacted at all from the bigger companies such as TNA, if you call them a big company, or the WWE to perhaps make your return and bring your juggalos?
We were on our way back to TNA for a very pay-per-view that was about 3 weeks before we showed up at PWU. We no-showed them. I don't really have the specifics on why, but like I said, some days we just be disappearing as quick as we show up in wrestling.
PWU just sounded like a better gig at the time, you know. It's more laid back, you know. You don't got the ridiculous politics with the wrestlers fighting for TV time and all that. It's more laid back, and we got more say and control in what we do, you know. So
yeah, and this is the place to be, you know what I'm saying, as far as that goes. So we just decided not to do TNA and to show up here. But no, we don't get phone calls from Vince McMahon and all that shit. Hell no, you know what I'm saying? I mean, not on a regular basis. I mean, they've called in the past in our lives, but not all the time.
Even though you guys didn't go back to TNA, it was you that was instrumental in bringing them to Detroit for their first pay-per-view outside of Orlando and Nashville, correct?
That's right. We brought them in. Our record company is Psychopathic Records, and it's phenomenally good at promotions and all of that. I'm talking about street-level promotions, sending vans out there with flyers at the high schools at 3 o'clock when they get out of school, you know what I'm saying, and hitting up all the hot spots and everything. And we know how to do street-level promotions real good. So we're friends with TNA, and we contacted them about doing their first house show as TNA with the six-sided ring and all of that, you know. There was a couple other shows, but they were under other names, and they had other guys on the show that weren't part of TNA, you know. We wanted to do an official TNA show, so we brought them in, and we drew really good, man, and it was a great show. Very successful.
Well, guys, you guys have a big JCW tour coming up, 24 cities. You have InsaneClownPosse.com. As we get ready to wrap this up, tell everybody about InsaneClownPosse.com and the big Juggalo tour coming up, 24 cities right here in the United States.
Well, it's simply put like this. JCW is going on the road from New York to L.A. and everywhere hot in between, everywhere that's dope. We're bringing our insane blend of wrestling, you know. Don't take it too serious. That's why we call it champion shit, you know. If you're looking for top 10 matches, 10-plus Iron Man matches, you're not going to see it. But if you're looking for a good-ass time and a party, come on out. You'll see some fun wrestling, you know.
And on top of that, some super-duper storylines that, you know what I'm saying, if you got any kind of like interest in just sitting back and not that stupid soap opera stuff they be doing on WWE, you know, and people chasing each other, we got solid, sweet stories that's going to be awesome for anybody to follow, wrestling fan, juggler, or just somebody that just dabbles into watching it. They won't be able to deny the flavor of it.
We got Tracy Smothers, we got Nozawa, we got Corporal Robinson, Too Tough Tony. We got a whole host of people that are off the hook, Mad Pondo. You know, it's going to be a great tour. If you're interested in music, check out ICP.com. If you're interested in anything to do with wrestling, check out ProWrestlingPress.com, because that's where you're going to find what's really going on, baby.
All right, guys, thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks a lot, brother. No doubt.